We'll be starting in a few seconds. Yeah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Brothers and sisters, my name is Anas Hayyan, and inshallah tonight I'll be a moderator for the IIUM Student Union Presidential Dialogue. Give a round of applause. As everybody is aware, we are currently having the IIUM Student Union election. So this is the third election. Yeah, we have the first president candidate here, Brother Hafiz, and then the second president candidate, Arifah, and also Alif, and then we have now Brother Muntasir, inshallah. Although our candidates have won their respective seats, in order for us to keep democracy alive and flourish in the garden of knowledge and virtue, therefore we are holding this dialogue, the IIUM Student Union Presidential Dialogue, for you to hear the aspiration, the wisdom, as well as thoughts on the way forward for IIUM Student Union for the next tenure. Before I introduce the candidate, yeah, I don't see that the house is full yet, so let's warm up for a while. I want to ask any of you, what are the characteristics of a student representative? A characteristic that they should possess. Anyone? Can I have three? Hafiz. Showing up, number one. Number two, anyone? Charismatic. Number three from this side? Transparent. Okay, thank you. So in order for us to see whether the next president and deputy president of IIUM Student Union is charismatic, transparent, and what's one more? Showing up. So we are going to test them tonight. We're going to test them tonight whether they have those characteristics or not. So tonight we are going to listen from two of our candidates. On my right side, from the Department of Fiqh and also Fiqh, 𝐼_KHS, the candidate of president of IIUM Student Union, Brother Muntasir Aznan. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good.
Alhamdulillah. Okay.
Surviving too, like you guys.
Okay, you're human too. Okay, now we have on my left the candidate for the deputy president one for Gombak from Ahmad Ibrahim Kuliah. Applause, Brother 𝐿. So we have the cardboard there. It's so nice. Brother Raj, كيف حالك?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. I'll be explaining the format for tonight. We will have 4 rounds. Okay, the first round will be manifesto presentation from Muntasir and also from Yuvraj. They will be given 10 minutes each. And round 2 is question from me as the moderator. We will allocate around 20 minutes for it. I will ask whatever I like. Yeah. And then round 3, it will be Q&A with the audience, which is the most important part of tonight for you because Raj tweeted yesterday that we should grill him. So tonight we will grill both of them, okay? Okay. So slow. Okay? Okay. And round 4 is the concluding remarks, inshallah. So let's have a sincere, truthful, and honest dialogue tonight, inshallah. Okay, so without further ado, I will pass the floor to our president candidate, Brother Muntasir Aznan. 10 minutes to present your manifesto. The floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. How are you guys doing? Surviving. Okay, we are all human beings. So, Alhamdulillah. So my name is Ahmad Muntasir bin Aznan, and I will be. So I'm not running out because you already won. So I will be your next president of Student Union. So inshallah, today on this opportunity that has given to me, inshallah I will tell to you guys about my aspiration, my mission and what I'm going bring, what I'm going to offer to you guys as the members of IIUM Student Union, as IIUM student itself. But firstly, I want to thank all of you guys for spending your time here, and not to forget our friends who are watching online. I hope there are our friends from Pagoh and Kuantan too who are watching this candidates dialogues. Yeah, because I will be cater all three campuses, including Pagoh and Kuantan. So, without further ado, Dr. Hazan, can we wait for Azan? Okay. Okay, let's continue. As I illuminate. All right. So my first manifesto will be, okay. So you guys can see the manifesto at through my social media. I have 5 manifestos, all of them. As you guys know, before this I was running for the deputy presidency. So regardless, I still believe that my manifesto or what I'm about to offer is really suitable, even if I am to be running for presidency. So I will not changing my manifesto. I will stick to my original manifesto because I believe it is what emphasize what I'm going to do to the union. Okay. So the first manifesto is ensure inclusive, collaborative welfare and academic initiatives. So what I'm about to do is in this first manifesto, one of the initiatives that we can initiate is to conduct a data-driven, strategic, collaborative initiative alongside KBSC, alongside MRCC, and alongside societies and clubs in IIUM. And the second one is to initiate central initiatives. So what is the meaning of central initiatives? So central initiatives is somewhat projects or programs that we can do that includes all 3 campuses in IIUM. When is the last time you guys see we have a central initiatives or central projects that includes Kuantan and Pagoh campuses too? I think we haven't had it for a very long time. So one of the initiatives that we can bring back is one of them is 𝐏𝐶𝐶. As you guys know, 𝐏𝐶𝐶 is Kuliah Sports Festival, right? So Inter-Kuliah Sports Festival. So before this, even before COVID, 𝐏𝐶𝐶 was held only in Gombak campus. But I think this is an opportunity for us to really bring Kuantan and Pagoh together, because we rarely have any joint event with Kuantan and Pagoh campus, right? So I think one of the initiatives that we can do is through sports. So 𝐏𝐶𝐶 is really, I would say, reasonable to have this collaborative efforts with Kuantan and Pagoh too. And then one of the initiatives that I really like happening this from the past tenure, boleh cakap kot past tenure kan? Because already is official, tomorrow official. So one of the initiatives that I see is very nice that we can make it as a central project is the Moontime project. Moontime project is before this under Office of President Gombak, right? But I think it is an opportunity for us to bring this kind of projects to a central level, because it has a big opportunity, it has a big potential for us to tackle pre-poverty among students. And of course, Kuantan and Pagoh have female students too. So we can use this project and we can make it as a central project. You guys agree with me? Yes. Thank you for agreeing. Okay. So, okay. The third one is I'm trying as casual as possible lah, because I'm trying to be myself. Okay. Okay. The third one is Central Operation Department. Okay. Basically, when you are an officer in IIUMSU, you have to craft your own department under your office, right? So previously I was in Office of President Gombak, and we have a few departments. And of course, in Office of President Central too, we have a few departments that we can create up. So one of the department is a Central Operation Department in the Office of President that can collect and resolve all the problems that are happening throughout 3 campuses, and can initiate the initiatives, with the collaborative initiatives with respective parties lah. So throughout my campaign period, I've been to Kuantan and Pagoh campuses, and I've seen there are few problems that we have to as a president we have to differentiate between 2 problems, which are locality-based problems and central problems. And one of the example of central problems that we see is okay. For example, I go to Pagoh for the past yesterday kan? 2 hari lepas, 2 days before. Okay, so one of the problems that we see in Pagoh is they have a short number of buses. They only have 2 big bus and 1 mini bus, and these buses are not enough lah for the students. And when they raise this concern to us, they say that usually the buses will be provided by Gombak. So this is one of the central problem that we can cater. And of course, one of the central problems that we can address, which has been very hot lately, is about USRA in action, right? So USRA in action is actually didn't happen in Gombak only. It happens in Kuantan, it happens in Pagoh. And if you heard Kuantan people telling their problems about USRA in action, you will be very sad lah. You want to cry lah, until you want to cry. It is a very serious problem, I would say, and it is a very pressing problem for students like Kuantan people lah. So these issues are one of the example of a central problem. So Office of President can help tackle these issues by providing a proper data, quality data, so that we can present it to the management, and then we can think of a way to solve these problems. All right, and then the other manifesto policies or improvisation that we can do under this first manifesto is extend relation with other local and international unions, NGOs, and corporate bodies. So our union has a very big potential. Even though we are only 3 years old, still a little baby, but we already growing fast. So especially in student union, we have a big potential as an NGOs, because we already have our pool of audiences, these students. Most of the NGOs outside, throughout my experience working in other NGOs, they didn't have their own audiences pool, and which makes how they want to grow their NGOs quite hard. So in IIUM Student Union, we have Gombak itself, we have almost 40,000 students. So IIUMSU has a really big potential to be known by the other NGOs and corporate bodies. We move on again to the second manifesto, which is amplify accessibility to the union. So one of what we're going to do in the second manifesto is we're going to increase the accessibility to the union through many initiatives, which include the first one, of course, we have to liaise all these accessibility things with OCAP, because most of the accessibility efforts for IIUMSU, OCAP will handle. So of course, all these efforts will be liaising with OCAP officers. So the first thing is quarterly town hall. So I'm planning to make a quarterly town hall for our union, because we rarely hear any opinions because this is our union, right? So we're supposed to draft our future. We're supposed to construct our direction together. So one of the things that we can do is to make a quarterly town hall, and one of for the beginning of the tenure, we'll make a town hall so that we can collect feedbacks and opinions of our student union, and then inshallah we will analyze the data and construct the direction of the union together. So that this will will have inclusivity lah to all. We promote inclusivity to all students, and then we must have a frequent informal session with IIUMSU officer. Frequent informal session with IIUMSU officer, because yeah, IIUMSU officer is also students, right? Also friends of ours. So we have to foster the bond between the union, the staff members, and the student union members itself. And then the third one is media visibility. And then okay, one of the problem statement that can be seen in the media visibility. Most of you guys will see most of the programs that held by IIUMSU will be posted, I would say, last minute. But this is a problem, but it can be solved. So one of the solution that I'm about to offer is to have a media department for all officers in our union, so that it can reduce the workload of OCAP, so that all the programs posters can be released early, and then all the and the participation of the program can be increased. Okay. Ada tiga lagi. Alright. 1 minute. But okay. 1 minute is manifesto. Okay. So the third one is enhanced financial independency. Okay. So the first one, okay. In financial independence is quite simple, because our union we have to maintain our financial independence of our union, and of course we have to improve it. So this financial independence enhancement can be get by grants and sponsorship opportunities for the specific projects in our union, and then we can enhance premium membership benefits. Of course, most of us are registered members, right? And we all have to get the benefits of being IIUMSU members. So there is an ongoing effort by the current and COP office regarding the premium membership. But I believe that we can improve more in terms of the collaborators offered from the student union membership, so that we can give more benefits to the students. And then the fourth manifesto is to optimize organization operation of the union. So firstly, I am aiming the creation of SOPs for all officers in our union. SOPs are very important for all of the officers for the union, in terms because it will really helps in terms of succession to other members. And then one of the problems that we see right now is most of the students seems to be scared to be contesting for IIUMSU officers in the election, because one of the problems that I've seen is they didn't see the challenges, they didn't see what they didn't see what they have to do once they step up in the offices. They didn't see they didn't see the problems they will be helped. So the SOPs for all officers will really help in terms of the succession plan for all our students. Okay. The fifth one, the final one, is implement a quality data-driven student activism. So, brother and sister, this manifesto is really important for us as a student, because our everyday activities are more research-based, right? So, why don't we compensate these skills from our students so that they can help our union get stronger? So, that is for the fifth manifesto. So, that's all for my 5 manifesto breakdown.
Thank you very much, Brother Muntasir, and thank you for going, to the extent of going to Kuantan and Pago as well, as you are the president of all 3 campuses, and thank you to all of his campaign team that went with him as well. Thank you so much. And I think it is a very comprehensive manifesto, as well as when you mentioned the buses case in Pago. I don't think it is something that is very delicate. Yeah? It has not been solved since last tenure as well. when I went to campaign for one of my friend as a candidate there, it was the same problem. So hopefully at the time of mutasi it will change. And now we will go to Brother Raj, our Deputy President 1 candidate. You'll be given 10 minutes. Maybe the committee could mention when it's 5 minutes and 2 minutes so that he will know his time. All right, so the floor is yours.
So I'm audible, right? Okay. Assalamualaikum. I'm Yuvraj from ICOL. I'm the Deputy President 1 candidate for the IIUMSU election. Let me cut to the chase and let's move on to the manifesto. I'm looking forward to have like an interactive kind of manifesto as well. So the method will be, I'll be identifying the problems, I'll be giving out the solutions, and I'll explain if there is anything that you don't understand. So there are 4 manifestos that I'm looking forward to present and work out for the union in my tenure. And the 4 things are a sustainable and efficient mobility, a well-maintained and safe infrastructure, welfare-centric student development, and an accountable and inclusive student union. So these are the 4. And the first one would be sustainable and efficient mobility. So there are 2 parts to my first manifesto, which is it has to be sufficient, it has to be efficient, as well as it has to be sustainable. So what do we mean by sustainable? Like BEAM, which has been already started in the last tenure. Buses actually, because you have a lot of people taking one particular transport rather than everybody using their own cars and motorbikes. So that is a sustainable mode of transportation. And then there's efficient. What do we mean by efficient? Let's go on to buses. So a lot of students, especially sisters, because a lot of you live far away from the kuliahs, and also brothers who live in like Bilal, Sidik, which is far away from the kuliahs, have to depend on buses in order to get to classes. What is the problem with the buses right now? The frequency, shortage of buses, and also the buses are too packed. So what is the problem and what is the solution? So about the frequency, we can't really do much instantly because we have to increase the number of buses in the university in order to increase the frequency. Number 2, when the buses are too packed, what do? So you have to have more rounds for the buses to be making. And also the third one is that when do we need more buses? So according to our data, even during our last tenure, most buses were needed during the beginning of the semester rather than the end of the semester. Because at the beginning of the semester, they're all new students, everybody is depending on the mode of transportation that is provided by the university itself, right? But towards the end of the semester, you already have friends, you have your own mode of transportation, you can sneak in your car without a sticker, that kind of thing. So we are looking forward to solve that problem by actually getting a timetable, getting a proper schedule from the Vehicle and Management Unit, which is VMU, and updating the students if they are expected to have delays, let's say 5 to 10 minute delays, update monthly on the first day of every month to the students on our social media accounts and also paste it at the bus stops. So in that way, we are definitely not increasing the frequency, but I think you can expect what kind of delays you're going to be facing throughout the month. And I think it should be done monthly because just doing it at the start of the tenure would not solve or would not give you info for the rest of the whole 8 months that we are in the university, minus the 3 months that we are on semester break. So that is for number 1. I have a good news for you. This is something that has been initiated by the last tenure, which is bicycle. A bicycle powered by electricity and like a power motor kind of thing. I just had the meeting today morning and they actually came. And on the 1st of June, you might actually see them fixing stations. So there's also job opportunities being provided by the company for the university students. So I think that's a good thing. And also for sustainable and efficient mobility, by efficient, my standard of efficient is that if it is accessible for persons with disabilities, then it is accessible for everyone. So that is our standard. If you all look at the campus right now, we do not have one full circle of pedestrian walk. It's already difficult for us. Can you imagine how persons with disabilities are moving around? The ramps, how they're making a bump in front of the Safia, but they did not care that there is a person with disabilities path there, but it is blocking, the reparation is blocking it. So I think we'll be more concentrating on making sure that the standard is that we can fix for the persons with disability, that all of us can use it, definitely. So that will be for sustainable and efficient mobility. And the second one, well-maintained and safe infrastructure. What do we mean by well-maintained and safe infrastructure? we cannot have wild dogs walking around our campus, number one. Number two is that we do not want any toilets that cannot be flushed down. Okay? So how do we solve this? Let me be clear to you. A student union is not a maintenance providing body which can go down and fix your problems of toilets or drainage, clogging and everything. But what do? We liaise with, let's say, for the problems of Mala facilities, we'll be liaising with MRCC, which is where the funds are going and which is where they are responsible in order to take care of the facilities of Mala, and also the maintenance, and also 𝐴 of course. 𝐴 is the contractor that has been provided by the university in order to fix the facilities. So there are 3 facilities in order to be fixed. Number 1, of course, the priority is Mahala, because that is where we stay. We need proper hygiene, we need proper beds, proper chairs, proper everything in order to have a conducive environment to study. Number 2 is sports facilities. I don't know if everyone plays sports here, but I think it's an important issue to raise, because if you look at the condition of male sports complex, it's horrible. And you know what happens? We all go and play at female sports complex. Now who do not have their privacy? Female. So this is for the sisters. I care for you. So let's fix this. I think it's also about, you want to give them privacy, you want to have your own space to play. You have lesser place to play when the male sports complex is in a horrible state and all. So we will be making sure that the male sports complex is fixed so that male can play at their own places and females will be playing their own places. That is the essence of International Islamic University, I guess. So that is something we'll be pushing for. I just want to be clear that there are a lot of infrastructure and facility problems in UIA, right? You can see the sungai, which is really dried up and it's no longer a sungai actually. Yeah, it's more like a longkang parit. Yeah. And then we have like pathways which are broken. We have bumps that UIA make at times, which is not even really bumps, it's just more like bukit contesting to be highest point of Malaysia. Yeah, but okay. So then, yeah, so we have a lot of problems with that. So the student union would not be fixing every infrastructure and facility, but there is a highest priority we have set, and the first thing I'm looking to solve is the wild dogs issue. So let me just break it down to simple terms. The problem is that there's wild dogs in UIA. What do? Do we catch or shoot the wild dogs? We can do that according to the municipal council or anything like that. We are not going to shoot it, we're going to catch it. So that's what we are looking for. But the actual problem is that there's a fencing that has collapsed. When there's a fencing that has collapsed and the fence have collapsed, no matter how many dogs you catch, there's going to be still more and more wild dogs coming in. So what is the root problem here? Is that you have to solve the fencing problem. How much does it cost? Now, if all of us crowdfund, in the next 100 years, we'll be able to achieve it because it's RM 2 million. Are we going to crowdfund 2 million? Yeah. No. Yeah. So when we are not looking forward to crowdfund 2 million, but who has the actual funds in the university? The management, right? The management has the fund. So we have to push for the management in order to solve this fence problem. That is our ultimate priority. So let me ask you a question. I need an actual answer. Do you think the university actually conducts programs which are not really useful or beneficial to us? You can be honest. Is there any programs and yeah? So is it our right to ask the management, why are you spending it on it when there is a problem of wild dogs and students are actually getting hurt? We have had 3 cases under the Office of Security and Management. We have proof where the sisters have actually ran away from the dog and get themselves hurt. So this is not about just having well-maintained and nice infrastructure. It's more on the safety as well. That's why my second manifesto is that it has to be well-maintained and safe infrastructure. And the third one is an accountable union. I actually resonate with what Brother Muntasir has said, that we need to have a quarterly town hall and everything. So the 3 things that I'm focusing on, my office or our office at Student Union will be making sure that we will run like a parliamentary welfare office, but not on a daily basis like 9 to 5, of course, because we are all students. But I think we need to have a specific time where any students who are not able to reach us on social media or WhatsApp can just come and see us directly at the Student Union building. I think it's time to make use of the Student Union building, right? It's been too long there without cafe, without life. Yeah. So that's the focus. And number 2 is that we will have, I as the Deputy President of Gombak, as the Deputy President of the Union, I'm looking forward to actually be the one in charge of Gombak. And that means that I need to have an update from the students to me, what are the problems that you are facing. Because all the problems I have in my manifesto is something that is big and happens throughout the tenure. But I need also problems voiced out to me, which happens seasonally, such as LIDV, right? Such as, let's say there's flood crisis, let's say there's elections, there's upcoming state elections. So how do we go around it? Do we actually have online classes for it? Do we actually send all of us back to our own states to vote, but not all of us are voting? You know, so these are the things that come up seasonally, and I really need you to voice it out to me, and that is why I'll be having a meeting at least 2 months once in order to get the updates and all the seasonal problems known to me. So that will be my third manifesto. So these are the things that I'm looking forward to solve, and I'll be working with Brother Muntasir, who actually have a lot, you know, we have our common grounds. We might have a bit of differences in the way that we want to conduct, but I'm pretty sure it's like trivial stuff that we can actually solve. So my motto is that I want to be a deputy president for Gombak and Gombak alone. So if there's anything to do with Gombak, you can come to me and we will solve it together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Raj. It's interesting how universe works, yeah? Because until last week, both of them were against each other. Yeah. And now we could see that their manifestos actually complement each other, and hopefully will bring our union to a greater height, inshallah. And now we will move on to our second round. Brothers and sisters, the second round is the question from the moderator. So I'll be asking a few questions that I think is very important. I will not touch much about the manifestos, because I think these two are the top two of students representative in IIUM. You represent all of the students. You represent Gombak, Kuantan, Pagoh. You represent Gombak, just tens of thousands of students. So you have to think big. You have to show up. You have to show your credibility. You have to show that you are knowledgeable, you are approachable. So my first question, I will ask a question, then both of you will have to answer in maybe 1 or 2 minutes. So we'll make it short, we'll make it lively, and we'll take turns. Maybe the first question I will ask Moon, and then Raj, and then the second question will be asked to Raj first. Okay. So my first question would be that every society in our university will have their own image. How will they portray themselves? For example, the Da'wah-based society, they will portray themselves in doing a lot of Da'wah kind of events. Chitra, maybe they will have a lot of cultural events. So in your opinion, what will be the best image or the branding of IIUM Student Union that you think would be approachable by the students and you think would fit best for your tenure? So maybe an extension would be that, you know, for example, an SU could play a lot on national politics issues. You could touch more on welfare. So what is IIUM Student Union in Muntasir's eye and also Raj's eye?
Okay, so one of the problems when we're talking about images, right? I would say that students of IIUM didn't have one thing that they can be seen that IIMSU can solve. I mean, for example, if you are looking for program kerohanian, some sort of like programs that cater for your spiritual needs, you can go to clubs. We have many clubs in IIUM that cater that programs. When we some sort of like going for volunteering programs, we can go to many clubs in IIUM that are voluntary based. But in student union, we didn't have we didn't have at least one thing or one values that student will look out for our student union. So in my opinion, I would say that, of course, you guys know that IIUM student is the highest student body, right? We are the highest student body in IIUM. But as Raj say, IIMSU also is not your sole problem solver for all the problems that are happening. But I would say IIUM Student Union as a highest student body should act as a collaborative body that can raise students' concerns to the highest place in our university, and that we will solve the problems collaboratively. And IIUM Student Union as an NGO itself, we have a very big potential as an NGO. Of course, you guys know we can run our own businesses. We can have our own money. We can have our own money flow without the university even asking where does the money goes. So we can some sort of like for this tenure, I would like to portray this union as the real highest student body itself and as an NGO itself, because especially for the NGO part, being in the office of president, you have to always think of how this union can grow, of how this union can go beyond what is like right now. So I realized that the responsibilities to be held by the president, and inshallah we will work hard to make sure that IIUM Student Union will be seen, of course, among the student as the highest student body again, and then outside as an independent and sustainable NGO, inshallah.
A great way to look at SU. Now, Brother Raj, how would you look at SU in your tenure?
Okay, so I'm looking at SU's branding. IIUMSU's branding would be in two different sections, which is number one, within the campus. Within the campus, I actually agree with what Brother Mutasir had actually said, that we have to be a collaborative body. We have to be the highest student representative body within the university. And we will be the centralized organization which has all departments, but we will be liaising with every department that is already in charge with it specifically. Let's say there's a problem with welfare, then we get the news first, and then we will actually direct them to where you should go. That is our job. Like we said, we are not here to do the actual job, because the actual job of solving trivial matters, because that is why a lot of people are hired within the university. There's a whole ecosystem to help out students, but we should be the place where we can direct the students to the right path, right way, and also to ensure that they are informed well by the student union. So within the university, the branding would be that we are the place that you go to. You have a problem, you go to the student union. They will tell you what to do, that kind of thing. So that is within the university. Outside of the university, I think I have a bigger aspiration for IIUMSU. You definitely have to play a part in the policy making of anything to do with the Ministry of Higher Education. I see that IIUMSU should not limit ourselves to just something that focuses on the welfare of the students of the UIA alone, because you can focus on the welfare of the students by actually being involved in the policy making of the country. Because how much subjects, like law, for example, there's 160 credit hours. Who decides this? MOHE with the help of MQA, Malaysian Qualifying Agency. So how can we be involved? Because we get invitations from the Ministry of Higher Education every year to be part of their meetings, part of their assemblies, town hall sessions, in order for us to give our inputs. Whether they really take it or not, we don't know lah. But what we can do is we can really voice out and push for things that we actually want. So the branding outside should be IIUMSU is a body that focuses on the students for the whole of Malaysia as well. So because you are a student representative body situated or located inside IIUM, but at the end of the day, you are also representing the mahasiswa as a whole. So that would be my branding for SU.
Okay, interesting answers from both of them. I truly agree that we have a different kind of image inside IIUM. You have to be approachable. People should be able to come to you easily to ask questions, and you have to show up. And outside, you have the responsibility of representing mahasiswa. We have the responsibility of upholding the good name of IIUM students activism, which is very famous. I saw your tweet as well from your mom and the Minister of Education. So it has come a long way, and you have to continue, inshallah. And number two, so this question Raj will answer first. In this year's election, we could see that there's no women candidate from Gombak. Oh yeah, Syafiqah Alisha, okay. Only one out of the other male candidate. So how, and of course, the voice of everyone is important in policy formulation, in the decision-making process. So how would you look at this, and how will you cater to this issue in terms of bringing everyone collectively as a union?
We have to agree that there has not been a lot of participation by female students in the student union election itself. But I would beg to differ on the part that I think a lot of sisters are actually involved in activism and student union activities or student politics, campus politics within the university. My friends over there at the back, they're all mostly females. I can see on this side a lot of people from the election committee. I think you have to give them a big round of applause for the sisters here. So you are definitely involved. The sisters, a lot of them are involved, but it's usually belakang takbir lah, behind the stage kind of thing. I'm not exactly sure. I can't speak for the sisters why the sisters are not, at the frontline politics or at the frontline campus politics actually participating. But I can tell that there is a bit more advantage for male students, I guess, when it is dominated, incumbent, and then there's also always been like, the president is always a male. So it's like a subconscious thing that's already set in the mind. But this might be an unpopular statement, but we are looking forward to implement a positive discrimination kind of policy. So since we have not much female students actively participating in the student union, right, in election, we will be actually opening up a lot of positions in our student union to females as well. We should have a quota for them as well, because I can tell you it might be an unpopular statement, because it's like whoever is capable of the job should take it. But when there is no representative of a female there, or their opinions, or how they look at things, or different perspective of a certain issue, I think then that will be a problem. A lot of them are showing love. Yeah, so I would think that we definitely have to have more female officers in our student union in the upcoming tenure. I hope that Muntasir will agree with that too. And also, I think at the end of the day, the ultimate problem is that what do we benefit from it lah? So what do the sisters benefit from it, or how do they benefit from it? Or are there more problems specific or just targeted to females that they have to really come out? And I'm looking forward to establish or actually continue what has been done in the last tenure, to have a person in charge for female students' problems within my office of Central Office of President.
Thank you, Brother Raj. All right, Muntasir?
Yeah, first one, I agree with Raja, of course. But for me personally, I think we don't have to put it as a, like, how do I say? In IIUM, majority of our students are female, right? And we have many, already have many representatives from KBSC, MRCC, from societies and clubs, and all of them are mostly female. Okay? And women in IIUM already stand up in IIUM. But I believe I would like to see these problems as a matter of whole empowerment, because it's not just about a woman. We have a little representative for election in our election this year. So we jump to conclusion that women have less participant in our campus activism. I think it is a matter of how we make sure that specifically for being participate yourself in election lah. I think the most important part is how we see the succession properly passed to the students, because we didn't see that people have to know what they have to bring to the union. People have to know what each officer's job scopes are. So it is a matter of reaching out to all our students, and I didn't see these problems as specific gender problems, because it is a matter of how at the end of the day, it is how what important is how we empower the people who choose to not know rather than know. So and of course I agree with Raj about we having a specific policy for women empowerment, and a specific I would say department that will cater all these problems among women.
Thank you very much, Raj and Muntasir, for sharing your views on this. And I'm sure that, of course, as a union, everyone should have a collective voice in the decision-making process, in making policy of the students' union moving forward, inshallah. So my third question, right now, Brother Muntasir will answer first. I always asked it before this to maybe representative from KBS or SU before, because every one of us, we came from a different kind of background. We have different belief, came from different states. We have different kind of ideologies, maybe, yeah. but we are here in one university. And the students in our university, they would love to show their creativity in various means. It could be through entertainment, could be through critical course, which could be very, very sensitive, I would say. That we could see many issues, or maybe something that came up before this in terms of maybe some programs or projects that have been opposed by a certain kind of a society, which they have perhaps valid reason for it. And sometimes people would blame the students' union for not being proactive, or not trying to curb the kind of issues that we have. So what will be your opinion on this? And what do you think should be the way forward for SU in terms of handling this kind of issue?
For me, I believe we have to celebrate all this kind of diversity that are happening in our university. We have people that have different perspective in terms of their political beliefs, or anything that they want to bring. But sometimes it's just a matter, because I think we have a clear example of that issue lah kan. When we want to bring a specific person to, let's say we want to have a discourse about political issues, and we want to bring a specific politician, but then it gets rejected kan. But it is a matter of basically our university right now, the situation is our university get to decide everything of what students want to do, right? So as what I can say as an IIUMSU officers, and as IIUMSU president itself, and as IIUM students who celebrates all this kind of diversity, we have to make sure that this effort are a collaborative effort lah. Because if you want to celebrate all this kind of diversities, we have to come together, and we have to push the admins lah to approve all these programs. And we as a student representative, we have to approach our administration as diplomatically as possible. We bring them all the rationales why we want to bring these specific events. We bring our reasons why we want to bring these specific events. As long as we believe that these events will bring many benefits to our students, IIUMSU can help you, inshallah.
Okay, thank you very much, Muntasir. Being diplomatic to administration, that is maybe the way forward after this. Not lawan, huh? Okay, okay, right.
Lawan is my stand on this kan. For me, president of IIUMSU should be the kindest person that Amin would see. Don't you guys agree with this? Because every issue that happening in the university will ask who's the president of the students. Students do this thing, who's the president? So of course we have to approach them diplomatically. Urut sikit, jumpa cakap baik sikit.
Okay, thank you very much, Muntasir. Raj, diplomatic or lawan?
There is not a definite answer like whether it's diplomatic or lawan kind of thing. But like I said earlier, we had a wild dogs problem. The university spends on things that is not necessary or beneficial to us, right? How long have we been diplomatic to the university already? Lawan je lah, nampak macam mana. There are certain things that you have to go on offense, not necessarily by protesting in the middle of the road or anything, but you have to be really pushing for it, like pushing in a really hard way. You have to, it can be so simple as, if I call 200 female students who are facing this problem, and I stand in front of the deputy director's office and I say, you solve it, or we are not going to move from here, the kind of thing. I need an assurance from you, because I think I agree with Muntasir on the part that we have to be diplomatic. I think all of us agree that we have to be diplomatic. None of us want to be unnecessarily rude to the management. But the question here is not about when it's okay to be, the things that we and management are on the same page. These are the things that we and the management are not on the same page for. I think that is when, are we going to be diplomatic or are we going to be lawan, So I think in that sense, we have to push, but we are not going to hurt anybody. We are still going to be, jaga our budi bahasa as Malaysians, our politeness, our sopan santun, as Anas says, orang Johor. So we'll be focusing on that. But also for things like sensitive issues, I reflect on the government's policy to be implemented in the university, that there are three things you shouldn't touch on, the three R's: race, religion, and royalty. If these three things are already mandated by the government, which seems sensible to all of us, that you should not discuss it in a sensitive manner, then I think we all shouldn't do it. But it is okay to have religious discourses, interfaith discourses, in a very respectful manner. But all these three issues, anything sensitive and controversial, should not be discussed in the university, and I agree with the government's policy on that. But that doesn't mean we agree with all government's policies. There are certain government policies which will be biased and beneficial to themselves. In that sense, what do we do again? Lawan. Yeah. So there are certain things that we're looking to lawan, and there are certain things that we're looking to be diplomatic. And I believe that if there are things like, I would like to mention specifically, we had concerts last year, which became very controversial. On that matter, I'm not an expert on religion or Islam per se, but I can tell you, just follow the rules and regulations mandated by the university. Make sure you are in line with the religious perspective, and also consult the lecturers and also people who are in charge, who are experts in religion. We have IRKHS students. Our president himself, Sulfiq student, so he would know the best, I believe, for this upcoming tenure, whether we are doing anything against the religion, or whether there's doing something inappropriate to his religion. So that would be my answer.
I think I have to emphasize one thing about the thing. At the end of the day, it is a matter of how we strategize things. Because you have to understand how this union works. Because sometimes we can be, when you play football, I guess most of you guys play football. We have an attacking player and we have a defensive player, right? So these all players are in one field. We don't have all the defenders coming out offensively. So at the end of the day, you guys have to understand that it is a matter of strategy. It is a matter how these officers, how we strategize our approaches, even to the university management, to solve these kind of things.
Thank you. We could see the synergy between both of them, which is very good. Okay, should be besties after this. And perhaps last question from me. So after this is the Q&A session, so be prepared, brothers and sisters. So last question from me. Like it or not, we have different group of students friends. Let's make a short survey here. Who here is from grassroots empowerment? Okay, good crowd. Who here is from Arus Siswa? Do they still exist? Who here is from In Unity? Yes, okay, we can see. And who here is from Congress? Tak mengaku, And lastly, who here is from We Unite for Islam? Okay, so online, okay, straightforward. Mutasir Raj, will you legalize these fronts, and could we see in the next election of IIUM Student Union, the candidates will be running with their party, with their students' front flag?
I would say, why not? Because, frankly speaking, all fronts are the one who keep our student activism alive in our university. So, actually, I've been discussing with the Deputy President of Kuantan and Pagotu, Adib and Fakir, if you are seeing this. So we are seeing this as a collaborative effort, so that we can legalize fronts not only in Gombak but also in Pago and Kuantan.
Okay, great. Raj, what was your thought?
Yeah, every front, student political fund, which is not controversial, like I said, against anything to do with against the government's policy or the 3 R's.
Any fronts that are controversial here?
Alhamdulillah, no.
Okay, that's good.
So for now, I think we are all fairly democratic in a way. So I think we have no problems with legalizing any front. I think the best example that you want to look for is UM. Okay, UMSU has been there for like 40, 50 over years, and it is like an actual election, like a PRU election. There's flags everywhere. There are people, everybody wants to contest for the election, that kind of thing. If you really want that kind of thing, you cannot tiptoe around this issue and say, oh no, we cannot have a student front. You can be in the student front. You cannot put the logo there in the banner. Yeah, EC, take note. Yeah, so we are looking forward to legalize the front, definitely. If I and Mutasi are openly admitting that we are going to do this, we'll promise you we'll do this. Thank you.
Please save this slide. We will make sure that they uphold their words. Okay, brothers and sisters, now this is the exciting time. You have been answering a lot of questions. I think not hard, easy, because you are the president and deputy president. After this, perhaps there will be hard questions coming. So we have maybe around 30, 40, 50, 1 hour for the students to ask. We have the whole night. Please ask your question. Please state your name, your kuliah, and your questions, and you are directing the questions to whom. Maybe we can take 3 questions first. Please go to the mic at the left and the right side. The floor is yours. Who would like to ask first? Okay. Take you up. No, we cannot hear.
Okay.
Okay.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Akmal Abdul Hamid Muzaf. I'm first year, second semester ICOL student. One of Raj classmates to be exact, if you remember me. Because one class only, okay? One class. Okay. My question will be a lot. So maybe I will try to ask maybe a few the important parts. Okay, my first question is towards Brother Mutasi itself, which he stated that students doesn't want to actually nominating themselves to in the student union right now because they doesn't see the challenges and everything. But statistically speaking, we see that over the years it was decreasing over the years. And we could also see that the student union, the past tenure actually already shown that they are struggling. There are transparency in their work and everything. But there are certain things in their tenure that they only align with political image and media statement, not to do towards the welfare student. So that makes what the student really doesn't trust the student union anyway. And one may say that student union like Team Kosong only know how to do media statements, and like in Senate meeting, even the rector itself have personal opinions about student union itself. So my question will be, what will you do as a president student union in ensure that the student union will get back on track in protecting and preserving the welfare of the students, and not just being an NGO who just runs for political image and ignores all the welfare in the students itself? Because your manifesto is just a criticism. It's just too much on the student itself, more to the student union itself, but not focusing on the students about maybe about minoring or other stuff in UAE. Thank you.
Any more question before I let Mutasi ask? Faris, okay.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Faris bin Jafri. I am a third-year psychology student from 𝐴HAS KRKHS. I would like to ask a question regarding the sustainability of the union itself. This question arises because every single tenure that when a new president is elected, the past tenureship efforts is somehow lost, or at least currently from my observation of the union itself, there is not a specific strategic plan or a blueprint that the union can abide by for at least 5 years now. So I think I would like to suggest, and I would like to hear your thoughts on perhaps the creation of a strategic plan for the union for its sustainability years to come. So that is all. Thank you.
Is that for both of them? Okay. So we give a few seconds before they answer all of the 4 questions. Others may prepare to ask in the next round. Okay.
Okay, so brother from Ecole, question. Wait, okay. So regarding the question of how can we get SU back on track, right? So I've been working with Office of President for the past 10 years, and I would not say that IIUMSU has, I would say, menyimpang daripada apa? Apa panggil? Menyimpang dari jalan lah. I wouldn't say that IIUMSU have gone astray from their path, but I would say that it is just a matter of prioritization lah. Some things that we have to prioritize first, and some things we have to cater first, and something we can plan on it. So I think it is a matter of prioritization among the officers, and of course, being a president, you have to think of two things lah: how to cater the welfare of our students, how to cater our student empowerment, and how to cater IIUMSU in terms of its sustainability, its development itself. So it's not an easy job, and I understand if there's sometimes IIUMSU in early phases they will do this, and throughout the half of their tenure, you will see that they are far from their path. And one of the things I think I have to clarify this, because we've been seeing past IIUMSU officers work very hard in terms of cater to all these students' problems on the side of handling the union itself. And I would say one of the factors that mempengaruhi the reason why you see IIUMSU a bit political is because general election lah, I would say. But of course, some things that the union do sometimes, not all the things that union do, when you see that it is wrong, it is wrong. Sometimes it is right to do, but I would say that it is a matter of prioritization. And talking about the participation of the student itself, let me emphasize again my question. It is a matter of how we empower our student itself. As you can see, our brother here on his first year, right? Your first year, second sem. I hope you contesting for all lah next election. Make sure, okay? Office of Legal Affairs, boleh target saja. So I think it is a matter of how we empower our student, especially our juniors from first year, first sem, to be the next officers of IIUMSU. Me myself, during my first year, first semester, even when I was in self-pack, I was planning to run for the election when I was in first semester, because I have been empowered by a few people inside of IIUMSU, and I've been knowing about the union. I've been searching about the union. So I think it is a matter of how we empower our students from the beginning. That's why we have to legalize front, one of the things, because these fronts are helping to develop our students from the first year. And I think it is a matter of how we make sure that the journey of our students from the first semester are being developed, so that maybe at the end of when he's already third year, they can run for president. So that is your answer for your question. And then answer for Faris' question regarding do we have a specific blueprint for our union? Okay, these things have been quite a talking point lah for since the first tenureship of IIUM Student Union. We gotta have a proper blueprint. We gotta have a proper blueprint, and I think this blueprint is very important because okay, so realistically speaking, we only will be in charge for 1 year. I would say one year's few months lah, and it is, realistically speaking, guys, it is not enough. It is not enough time. There's not enough time for us to really execute many initiatives. So you guys during this tenure, you want to have 1 million ringgit. There's not enough time. Like you guys give us tenureship for 3 years lah, which me too, I don't want. But I think it is a matter of how we plan our blueprint and then make sure that our success gets the blueprint. So I would like to give a credit lah for the past tenures. The past tenures, they have been creating these blueprints very thoroughly, especially for IIUMSU financial blueprint. Because we have, of course, IIUMSU, we must have plans for 3 years. For example, we give for 3 years plan kan, enhancing the premium membership fees, businesses, and we can develop these blueprints for the next 5 years, or even for the next 10 years, so that we can achieve this financial independence for our union. And of course, we have to make sure that these blueprints of IIUMSU will have its successor, so that we have to make sure that every officers that win next tenure didn't have to do from scratch. So that is why the blueprint are very important.
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Muntasir, for the answers. Raj, blueprint of IIUMSU?
I think the blueprint of IIUMSU would be, you have to look at it from a bigger picture, bigger view. Number one, so what are the problems that we're facing? Sustainability, whether we can sustain or not. In what sense? Financial, number one, like Tassi said, you have to have enough funding in order to run the student union itself, and participation. So the matter of participation, let me assure you, it is not only about optics, it's not only about whether students believe in the union or not. I think there are just two things. Number one, technicalities. In order to vote, you have to be a member, and in order to be a member, you have to pay. Is everyone willing to pay and become a member? So there are students who are aware of the student union and the activities of the student union, but are not able to participate in the election. So if you look at the data from that perspective, it's going to look back. There are 25% of the students who are voting. Of course, because not everybody is a member. So we do not have automatic membership because we are registered under the Registrar of Societies outside. So in that sense, I think the blueprint to look forward to is UM. Because in UM, every student is entitled to vote. But when you make every student entitled to vote and give them an automatic membership, what do you lose? Revenue from membership. So now we have to find funding. How do we find funding? Of course, there are so many organizations, political parties, and other NGOs and grants from government that you can get funding from. Let's say, I give you an example. You get funding from a specific political party. Is that really sustainable? Number one, are they going to be in power for too long? Number two, the most important thing, then will our principles be compromised in order to be aligned with them? So it is not an easy task of just looking for funding. You have to look at the right place at the right time in order to ensure that the funding is somewhere from an honest place, an honest person is giving it, and that it won't be misused in order to dominate the power within the campus or student, campus politics. So I think the priority of the blueprint, I'll be working with Muntasir on this to make sure by hook or crook that every student in URA will be able to participate in campus politics without having to, out a money, of course, some money, it might be cheap for us, like RM6, 6 ringgit, 15 ringgit is not much for us. But for students who are actually depending on PTPTN already, or students who are actually they're not doing so well, do you think that they can really afford, students who are working part-time in campuses in Richiamo, Maikori, do you think they're actually going to fork out 15 bucks just for this? If they do not see a material benefit coming out of this, they have a financial problem and they work for themselves. So they do not really see the point. So I think the blueprint would be, number one, on why is the union important for the students? What do you get benefit? Let's be honest, we have to show them the material benefit. What do I get? Oh, I voted for this person and this is why I have a bicycle in uni. This is why I have an easier mode of transportation in uni. We have to show them the proof. So I think it's a matter of actually convincing the students that you are actually getting out of it, getting something out of it. And the second thing is like funding. I said funding is a bigger issue because we are independent. We have to make sure we get funding from the right place, nowhere illegal. Yeah, so that is also a priority. And also like I said, the participation should be like UMSU lah. The ideal system would be that every student in IIUM gets to participate in the election, because at the end of the day, despite 25% of the students voting for the election, we are representing every student in the university. Correct or not? Because you might have not voted in the last election. Some of you sitting here might have not voted. By the end of the day, we are voicing out for every student. So I think there's a dissonance in the system again. So we have to have a system where everybody can vote and we can, also represent everybody. We have an exclusive union this way where only people who pay get to be members of the union. Of course, in later times when we can afford and people who can afford can, look for funding for the union. So that will be the blueprint. And also one of the other things was that succession of, it gets discontinued. Brother Faris has just mentioned that it gets discontinued. Like last tenure punya kerja, this tenure nobody is continuing it. I can assure you this tenure we won't be doing something like that, because just for your information, I was in the office of President Brother Alif Naif as in charge of PR, and also Brother Muntasir was in the office of Deputy President, which is Sister Atira. So we both were already in union. We know of the system, we know of the work done, and the most important thing is that it's not the succession of people that is the most important, it's a succession of policies. So if you make a policy, it has to stand, it has to be something sustainable. You can have your friends in line for the next 5 years. You're a junior from 3rd year, 2nd year, 1st year, you already decide now who's going to become the next president. You do not even have a policy that can be succeeded. So why do you have so many people in line already? So I think at the end of the day, regardless of who comes into that place, a policy that is sustainable must be made. Like for example, I give, Sister Atira made an effort to bring electric powered bicycles. It's already at the part of regulations. I went for the meeting today. She is passing it down to me. So that is a policy, an example of policy where it has to be succeeded. Because the next deputy president, if I don't go for the meeting, the company is going to be like, no, you called me last year. The university management is going to be angry about it. You called me last year, but why are you just leaving it halfway today? So that is a good example of succession of policy. You have a policy which can stand for a long term. So that will be our main focus for our blueprint.
Yes, sir. Succession plan would be very important, not only the people that will be the next leaders or representative of the union, but as well as the policy that has to be passed down. Okay, the next round of Q&A session with the audience. Please go to the nearest mic and shoot your question.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My question is directed to Brother Muntasir.
Your name?
Astaghfirullahaladzim. Sorry. I'm so nervous to ask question. My name is Alif Halimi. I'm from...
And your position too.
I contested but I withdraw. Because I support Brother Muntasir as president, inshallah. Now, my question is for the first to Brother Muntasir. I can conclude from your speech, throughout the speech, that you want IIUMSU to be the voice of the student. Now, the issue is, in IIUM Constitution, IIUMSU is yet to be placed as the highest representation body of the student. It's still SRC, but SRC is frozen because management is making way for IIUMSU to prove. Now, how we are going to that? Meaning to say to ensure that IIUMSU being endorsed as the highest representation body of in the IIUM Constitution. That is the first. The second question is, I give you the situational problems of financial issues among the students. Students want, if you ask students who always leaving Malaysia to represent this university, they will share with you the issue of sponsorship. If you ask students who always conducting program also, they will raise the issue of sponsorship as well. Because Office of Finance or Finance, IIUM cannot provide them with sufficient amount of money, so they are calling for sponsorship. However, sponsorship cannot be directed directly to the account of society. They need to be directed from IIUM account. Now the issue is, it is a very tedious process, to the extent that this society need to advance their money first, then only can they claim. So that's no purpose of asking for sponsorship. That was many of my students, many of my friends, every Friday they will go in front of masjid and say calling for donation. So that's the problem raised. Now, how do you see on this issue? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Alim Halimi, for the question on position of SU in IIUM Constitution, as well as in the matters of sponsorship to fund students' projects, or maybe their travel going abroad to represent the university. Maybe one more question? Okay, Brother Aunillah. Others may queue up, yeah? If you want to ask as well. This is the last for this round.
Okay, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Aunillah Ahmad from Indonesia. Thank you, Muntasir and Raj. So maybe it's a pledge. I don't know, because if I'm trying to demand something from you guys, later will not sound good, because I'm also a fourth year last sem student. So I might not be around for the next for your tenure. So I just pledge, please guys, encourage more international students. We don't have a Global Romantic Festival last year. We have our officer Hamdan, talk to him, talk with Hussein Al-Baid, and yeah, we can work many things together. So the separation between the locals and nationals is not there anymore. Itu je, lagi sering ajak ngopi aja. So yeah, talk more, discuss more, go to student mall, go to mahallas, go to Indonesia community, Arabs, Afrika semua. Thank you, itu saja. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
It's a sincere pledge by Brother Aunillah, our brother from Indonesia. Okay.
Thank you, brother, for voicing out that issue. I think I've actually added in my manifesto, I'll be putting in my breakdown, that we need an accountable and also an inclusive union. Because at the end of the day, we have to remember we are in an international Islamic university for a reason. So I think just like the IIIC motto that the university have, to internationalize the uni as much as possible. I think we really could learn a lot and benefit a lot from the international student community because of their ideologies, which is different from what we learn here. So I believe, and I hope that Muntasir will be agreeing with me too, that the union, in the first place where we have power, will be internationalized as much as possible, where it reflects the true community of the IIUM students as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Brother Raj. So maybe to answer Brother Alif's question, the floor is yours.
Okay, so regarding Brother Alif has two questions. Thank you again, Brother Alif Halimi. So Brother Alif has two questions lah. So the first one is basically he's asking the status of our student union with IIUM lah, and then the second one regarding the sponsorships. Okay, the first issue. Okay, let me brief you simply lah. Okay, so basically our union previously, okay, let's look at the previous situation, scenario. Okay, before IIUM Student Union we have SRC, right? And SRC, as Brother Alif said, already has its name in IIUM Constitution. Therefore, SRC much binding with our university. So our university can give direct funds to SRC, can give direct students' activity funds to SRC. But for the past few years, we have been transitioned to IIUM Student Union, which I would say have more autonomy throughout our decision making, and then are more independent body. And technically speaking, IIUM Student Union is an NGO, that is separated from the university. So the problem here is the university sees us as a separate entity from other body. So we are much kita kata orang luar lah among our university board. So how can we some sort of like have a binding agreement with our university? One of the things that IIUMSU has done is through MOU. So this MOU, I think it will be expiring next year, 2024, right? So in this MOU, memorandum of understanding, the implication of this MOU is IIUM Student Union are still separated from university, but we have the power to represent our student voices. So basically, IIUM acknowledge our presence through this MOU. So okay, so regarding this issue, our status with IIUM with student union, it is a matter of how we plan our next direction of IIMSU with our university, because of course at the end of the day we have to represent the voices of all the students. But the problem here is IIUM management, our university, sees that the statement here is, if you didn't reach out to us, we have no problem to not help you, some sort of like that. So what is important is we have to reach out to this university management lah. I've seen with Prof. Prof. Akmal last week, and Prof. Akmal, our Deputy Director Student Development, and he said he didn't care if IIMSU didn't approach him to help student, but he has many things that he wants to help student. So IIMSU must approach these officers, so that of course we have one of the ways that we can I would say we can strengthen our with university is through this MOU, to renew this MOU, and then of course we have to find other means to sustain our relationship with IIUM. And of course, amending IIUM constitution is an option, but it comes with consequences. So we have to, it is a matter of how we discuss, it is a matter of how we discuss with our university, because of course, however, we are committed to ensure IIMSU are relevant with our university. Okay, so that's the answer for the first question. For the second question, okay, regarding the sponsorship lah kan, I think we have to see this as students reaching out to IIMSU as the highest student body lah kan. Of course, highest student body, we have to help students if they want to use programs kan. And of course, for the past efforts, IIMSU has already helping the students by, for example, help the students use IIMSU account bank. But of course, there are a few issues regarding the operation cost percentage. But I think it's a matter of how we IIMSU strategize our financial independency, because if we want to help these students, let's say one students want to go to a debate competition outside UIA and they need 5,000 ringgit to for their expenses kan. Of course, they have to reach out. They will reach out to IIMSU. But it's a matter of how IIMSU create initiatives. It is a matter of how IIMSU, how us improve our financial independency first, so that we can tell that the students, oh, we have many money already. You can come to us and just ask for it. That is, of course, the highest mission that we want to make for IIMSU. But of course, it is a matter of how we strategize, how we plan our financial independency, so that we help the students to make their programs, of course, to help to their everyday welfare issues also. Okay.
Thank you very much. Would you like to add anything, Raj?
I would like to add on some parts which is more technicalities. So any law students here who have done their contract would know that actually an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, has no legal effect, to be honest. So the fact that we have an agreement with the university and the university is still allowing us to have an election, which means we are doing, both of us are acting in good faith. Like I said, the MOU has no legal effect. Let's say UIA decides to just terminate the MOU, we cannot even take action against them. Okay, that's number one, we have to understand. Number two, having an MOU with the university and just proceeding is actually not a problem at all. Because like Mutassir said, he has noted it very well, that if you amend the constitution and become part of the university, you have to face some consequences where you will be you have to bind to the rules of the university. And also, second thing, we are no longer autonomous. The whole point of moving away from SRC to student union so that we can have autonomy. Amending the constitution and going back in is as good as having SRC, or maybe worse because we do not have even funding. So there are some examples I would like to tell you guys that UKM is also a student union, tapi orang kata tu separuh lah, dia separuh macam student university, ada student union separuh tak. But at the end of the day, their student union functions in what way is, the university gets funding from Ministry of Higher Education, right? They actually allocate the funding to the student union and ask them to release certain funds. Okay, so we probably can look forward to that. We can discuss with the university if we can get some funding from the university and work on that. And also on the funding part, there at the back there I see my friend brother Aiman Ilhami. He has actually raised this issue to me that if you use the IIUM Student Union's account, you are charged 10%. So let's say the students crowdfund 60,000 ringgit. We charge them 10%, which is 6,000 ringgit, which is pretty unfair. It is not written anywhere. It's not in constitution of the IIUM Student Union. So this will be discussed further in our meetings after this, whether 10% is too high or not. As an organization which is supposed to help students, I think 10% is quite high. But we have to also make sure we can find fundings from different places. So there we are. Go. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Muntasir and Raj. And of course, legalities is a day-to-day job as well as an officer of Students' Union. Okay, next round. Anyone who would like to ask a question, please go to the nearest mic and state your name, your kuliah, and your question.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Afzuddin bin Muhammad Isa. I'm from IRKHS, majoring in history. And for now, I am a student. And my question is about, because you're talking about legalize the political front, right? Maybe it was one of the interesting point. And when talking about legalize political front, the problem that stayed in my mind is about when we legalize political front, we'll have the issue that maybe the student will be too politic. For what I mean is maybe there will be a barrier for them to work together. Because why? Because when we talk about political front, it will mean that every political front will bring a different ideology or different vision and mission. And because of that, maybe there will be the student that because you're from different political front, there will be a barrier. I cannot cooperate with you. So my question is, you as a leader, if this happen in the SU itself, what is your solution in order to create a harmony circle in the IIMSU itself and to create the SU that work for the student and not work for the interests of the political front? Sure.
Thank you very much, Brother Hafiz. The question on political fronts. More questions? Okay, brother.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Lutfi, and I would like to ask on the Students' Union role as the highest student representative body. So the student union acts as the highest student representative body, and union means unitation or unionism to all students, which is also to the KBS and also to the MRC. So my question is that how does student union create such unitation or connection or collaboration as a strong united union to work to go with the people from both KBS and also MRC? Because I had the opportunity before to go to Kuantan with my friend to seek on their perspective, and most of their opinions is that these KBS and also MRC faces a lot of problem, especially in terms of programs. Every time they want to conduct a program, it will take so much time, and also as mentioned by Brother Alif on the sponsorship and also on the finance. So I think these are fundamental problems that have to be completed, especially in the unitation between the students and also on these financial turbulence. So that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Lutfi. Maybe one more question, Brother Raj, classmate again.
Don't worry, tomorrow we'll see in class. Alright, my question is pertaining students' welfare and education. Okay. Okay. As what I would like to quote from what Shraj is saying, that student union is not a problem solver for everything that happened in IIUM itself, but we need to push the management in order to solve it. So in terms of education, if you read back to this Sejahtera Academic Framework, it is encouragement for the students to learn from other kuliah, because some of the subjects will be beneficial for them. But there are some obstacles for IRK students, because IRK students, IIK students cannot find from other kuliah, if I'm not mistaken. And certain my friends would like to take minoring from ICOL. Okay, they ambil political science and ambil minoring from ICOL, but it wasn't allowed, and it was not aligned with the university framework and vision. And also when they want to consult, he want to consult with the HOD and everything, they actually deny the process itself. So my question is, as you as a student union, for both of you, how you like to actually raise these concerns, because these concerns have been raised until to the rector, but until now there's no issue ataupun being settled. That's the first issue. Second, about the unique subjects in IIUM. The unique subjects in IIUM is too heavy, because there's a lot of credits and the coursework is unreasonable for certain subjects, as like leadership, and also UNGS subjects. So certain lecturers actually mentioned that the student union can actually do something by actually making a data survey and actually raise to the Senate meeting and actually make that subject being abolished, but it wasn't being done in the past 3 years. So as a future student union, what is your strategy in order to actually lessen the student burden in terms of unique subjects? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope you see him in class tomorrow. Which class?
Which class, brother? Knowledge and Kenapa kau dah wish?
You focus or not in class?
Kau tidur
Okay, the first question from Brother Hafiz on how could we ensure a harmonious community of IIUM among IIUM students after the legalization of students' front. Who would like to start?
Okay, let me answer it. I think Raj has many to say about this. But okay, let us look at our national politics. Simple terms. Let us look at our national politics. We have many political parties, right? We have PAS, we have UMNO, there are other political parties too lah. But at the end of the day, the government have to work on policies that will give benefits to the rakyat lah. So I think being an IIM student, sometimes, yeah, of course, the concern is you being too political. The worries here is you don't you will not work with anybody else. But look at me and Raj now. We both are from different political sides.
Friends as well?
Yeah,
friends?
Different fronts. Yeah, sorry. We are from different fronts. But right now, I have to be his president. He has to be the deputy president of Gombak. So I think it is a matter of how we discuss together, but at the end of the day, you have to take note that all these political fronts, they have at least one common grounds between them all. So we have to find these common grounds. And looking at our union right now, our common ground right now is we want to make sure that the student union is our common background. So on that basis, I think it is reasonable enough for us to legalize this front. And talking about political side of the political side of our election, I think it is a matter of how we empower our student on student activism, because sekarang pun kita ada banyak, we have many political tagline lah, politik matang and sejahtera, politik apa semua tu kan. But it also implicates in our university, politik matang and sejahtera tu. So bersih dan stabil, best apa semua, kita boleh apa semua kan. Boleh ke tak boleh, macam tu kan. So at the end of the day, it is a matter of we as political fronts finding a common ground for us to work together. Because at the end of the day, we have to work together for the benefits of students. Regardless of what political beliefs you are, the first priority will be our students. Okay, so that is for I jawab terus the other question kan. So the second question is about this, you want to take other kuliah subject kan. And then the third one will be the question from you is about unicore subjects.
From Brother Lutfi as well on working with SU, KBS as the highest student body.
I think all of these three, from my personal perspective, I think all of these three questions will be centered for one answer lah. It is a matter of how IIUMSU collaborate with all the councils that we have in this university. We have KBSC, we have MRCC, we have under Office of Islamization, we have IDC, Islamic Dawah Based Council kan. So it is a matter of how we collaboratively solve the problems of students with this all KBSC and MRCC. But as IIM Student Union, we have to berbijak di bumi yang nyata lah. We have to know the reality that some of the things we cannot control. Some of the things that we cannot control, but we can improvise. So for example, if you want to take other kuliah subject, this method supposedly be brought by the KBSC, and IIMSU will work hand in hand with KBSC to solve these things. Sometimes you have to understand that IIMSU are not a sole solution problem for you guys. Okay? We are here to solve all your problems, but we will solve it with our own way, which is a collaborative effort with all the KBS, with all this MRCC. If not, what are the purpose of these councils? So these councils are here to cater your problems. Academic problems, go to KBS. Can go to SU, and then we will discuss it with KBS. About the unicore subject itself, Raj can elaborate on this matter. So, dia buat video khas untuk soalan ni. Okay, but regarding this matter, I know the problems. What are the problems are? The problems here are workloads, right? And in Gombak, we see that these unicore subjects workloads most of them will affect ICO students, I would say, because we are students with highest credit hours. But this problem also happens in Kuantan. And Kuantan people really affected with these problems. You can see Kuantan people, especially kuliah of medicines, they have to attend lectures, and then they have clinical, and then they have their postings, and then they have these unicore subjects, which really, when I come to IIM Kuantan the past 4 days, first thing that they say to me, unicore subjects. These are the most pressing problems for IIM Kuantan, and I really kesian lah dekat diorang, because these problems have affected their mental lah, of course, as a busy students kan. So it is a matter of how we strategize these problems, because realistically speaking, we cannot abolish these subjects, and you guys have to admit that these subjects are important for us too as a university students. These subjects are very important, but it is a matter of how we discuss, how we strategize, so that for the workloads, maybe we can liaise it with Sejahtera Office for Usra in Action, and with FITS for UNGAS, so that we can maybe have a common ground with all these lecturers to reduce these workloads. Okay.
Thank you so much, Brother Muntasir, for the question, for the answer. Yeah, you want to add something? Okay.
Whether we realize or not, this front is stood up, and they did stand for cease in the union. Betul kena faham lah macam benda tu yang berlaku, whether you realize or not. And you mentioned on the matter of that the fronts akan polarize lagi in the offices, right? So I think benda paling penting adalah the transparency of the student. The student want to know who they answer to eventually, stood up. Like, do they have anybody yang diorang kena jaga state behind the back or something? So I rasa the way forward, even if you do legalize front, people want to know who the front answer to. So yeah, that's mine.
Thank you, Brother Hafiz, from Grassroots Empowerment. Okay, Brother Raj, please elaborate.
Yeah, I think Brother Hafiz has actually explained it very well. Exactly, that's the point that I wanted to say on legalizing political front, because whether we legalize it or not, we all know we are from different political sides, right? So we are just asking it to be legalized so it is more transparent, like you said. Because by not legalizing it, does not mean that funds does not exist, you know. We still exist and just run in the back. We just cannot have our logos. We cannot just say out our name loud when we're running for election. Might as well you put it out there and make sure they hold us accountable. You say you are from this particular party, your ideology was this, why are you not doing your job properly? But if you were to question me, you can only question me on my personal basis, and I can always ignore it, walk away, which I won't do lah, don't worry. But yeah, but I'm saying that is why you need a friend where you can complain towards to, or where you can hold them accountable for the decisions of their candidates that they're representing lah. That is number one. And for the questions on UNICOR, this is something that I've touched during my campaign period. Very controversial. Ada lecturer tak suka saya. Lepas tu, yeah, so we'll be focusing on this. USRA in action and UNGAS subjects. I'm grateful that I have a very good lecturer for UNGAS with brother from IIUM, that my lecturer believes that the workload shouldn't be much because these kind of subjects are actually to give knowledge to you. The subject is literally called knowledge and civilization. It's not knowledge and examination. See? So I believe that there are subjects which is necessary for the students, but not necessarily which has to be examined like a proper examination, more than our own kuliah subjects, you know, our core subjects. So for USRA in action, let's see what's the problem. Let's go on technicalities. There is no proper jadwal, there is no proper timetable, no proper schedule. You have to do it on the prerogative of the lecturer and yourself, kan? You discuss with the lecturer, they will say let's have it on Friday. Friday saya nak balik rumah. Then tiba-tiba you are in Kampung Ulu Kemensa. That's how it happens, you see. So I'm saying this subject is good. Okay, now let's look at the workload. We are not looking to abolish, let me reiterate again, we are not looking to abolish because it's a good subject, but I'm telling you again and again that the university has to decide what the module of the course would be. For any subjects for matter, any subjects in university, the university is the one decides the course based on whatever the Kementerian give. But uni-core subjects like USRA in action, memang university decides what kind of module we want to give. So that is where student union can come in. We can discuss with them what kind of module do we want. We can say, have a proper schedule maybe, because the idea of having flexibility has become too flexible until I cannot sleep 8 AM in the morning on Saturday, right? So that is something we want to avoid. So that is where SU will come in and maybe discuss on how the module can be less burdening. Number two, if you look at USRA in action, you have gone through it, you know there's a symposium at every end of the semester, which is during our study week and final examination. Do I look like someone who wants to listen to jazz music and look at presentations? So definitely we do not want to do that. We can move it back to week 8, week 7, week 6. I will voluntarily go there, sit down for 3 hours and come back. Not during my study week, man. I do not study throughout the whole semester. I'm depending on my study week. If you ask me to come to the symposium, I'm going to fail. Right? That is why a lot of people are responding also. So that's why I say on the credit hour also, the university feels that it's a very good subject, you need it, they give you a lot of workload, but they'll give you 0.5 credit hour. So now I got A and my CGPA is still the same. I really do not want that lah. So that's why I challenge them. I say, if you really think it's important, then you increase the credit hour to show that you really think it's beneficial and we want it. Because having more credit hour doesn't really matter because we are doing the work anyway. So at least I'll get something out of it when I, actually get an A. But yeah, first time we ask for increase of credit hour. Yeah, I hope they won't actually do that. I'm just saying soundbite. Yeah. So we will avoid that. But we will ask them to give. Actually, the principle is that the workload of a subject should be reflective of the credit hour. 3 credit hour subjects, maybe 4 examination, 1 midterm, 1 finals, 2 assignments. 2 credit hour subjects, maybe 2 exams. 1 credit hour subjects, maybe just 1 presentation. 0.5 credit hour subject shouldn't exist. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it should exist, but it should be something very simple for us to do. So the whole point of credit hour is to reflect the workload of that subject. So that's my idea for that.
Do you agree with what Raj said? Yes. So let's wake everyone up. Let's do a bit of a chant. Long live, long live. Student Union. Okay, one last question from the audience. Oh,
2 last questions.
Nash first. Others can queue up first. Maybe we will think whether we will accept the question. But okay lah, I mean we have the whole time, no problem.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My question to Brother Yuviraj. Okay, I have three questions actually. Okay, the first one, how do you define disability and ensures unbiased understanding that embraces diversity? How do you actively challenge preconceived notions and promote inclusivity? Second question, regarding the issues of vehicle blocking disabled pathway on campus, which is very rampant. You can see these issues happens at least 1 month, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 times at the same place, and benda ni, this thing has already been, I think, more than 4 years, maybe 5 or 7 years already. So how are you going to solve it? And if you suggest a solution, what is the evidence that support the effectiveness of your proposed strategies? And how will you ensure the lasting change, which is sustainable change, and also genuine accessibility? The third question, considering the historical neglect of disability issues, how will you overcome resistance and skepticism about disability inclusion? What concrete steps will you take to achieve meaningful and sustainable improvement? That's my question. Thank you.
20 marks question for Raj. We will take another question. Brother again.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay. So basically my question is very simple, and sometimes the simplest question is the hardest to answer.
Brother, your name and kuliah?
Oh. I just finished with my introduction. So my name is Aiman. I'm from IIUM, second sem student. So my question is that, I mean, you know, when you become the next president and deputy president, you will sacrifice like a lot of time doing works, paperwork, sleeps, energy and all. Like 12 AM someone call you sebab ada hanya kerja, kan? Macam. The question is, why do you actually want to be the president and deputy president? Because, like for example, someone will, most of them lah, semua lah, basically will say that I want to work for students. Tapi at the end, maybe in their heart they want to work for their political mileage, for example. Takut nanti budak-budak bawah pergi kerja anjing, yang atas pergi kerja YB. Dah jadi problem. So that's why my question is just why? Because it will determine your work after this. You will work for 1 year, 1 whole year for students. So my question is why?
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Aiman. Brother Amar, last question, yeah.
Testing. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Amar Wajidan bin Ahmad Fathi. I'm from RKHS, political science students. I don't want to tell you my year, but I'm young. And my question is very simple. As I want to ask last question, I want to go deeper about the unionism. This question is a bit philosophical question, which is I want to ask both of you. What is your understanding? What is your critical understanding of unionism? And how will you drive the union for the future of the student empowerment and student movement? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brother Amar Plato. Amar, okay. So the first question from Brother Nash is for Raj. All the 3 questions on PWDs. The floor is yours.
So this is my answer. It was really fast. So whatever I've gotten from your question, I'll be answering them. It was really, really fast, but I'm a bit slow. Oh, yeah. So number 1 is regarding disabilities inclusion, you know, in our policies and everything. So I think I've made it clear in my manifesto that the standard for any infrastructure and facility would be that it should be PWD accessible. And so if it is at that standard, then everyone can use it.
Okay, what standard do you use for the infrastructures?
If I'm being honest, we have Disability X, and also the disability department that we are looking for. I think I understand there are some improvements that need to be made. For example,
my question is, when you guideline do you follow actually? What is the name of the guideline if you know?
Oh, I'm not aware of the specific guideline, but whatever we've been following in the uni for now, in the university, we will follow that. But I believe that there is still some loopholes, because if you look at some specific places like Safia, there is a supposedly person with disability punya laluan. Yeah, but it's not really accessible in a way, because if you're, because it also relates to the second question, how cars actually block all these pathways, right? Yeah, but you see, if the uni is making a bump and the uni themselves do not care about the accessible pathway that is in front of the Safia because of the reparation they're making, I think then there's a problem within the system itself. It's not just students who do not care. I believe all of us are not aware of this in a general manner, that we do not constantly think. We have to admit this. I'll be honest. When a uni makes a suggestion, let's say the past tenure they brought bicycles, right? Did I immediately think that, okay, we brought bicycles, but do person with disabilities get to use it? So that's not something that immediately clicks in your head, right? So I'm not guilt-tripping anyone. I'm not guilt-tripping myself too, but I'm saying this is somewhere we can improve ourselves. So every time that we make something regarding the infrastructure and facility, you should think, you know, person with disabilities are here, and you have to make sure they can get access to it. The moment they can get access to it, you get access to it. So that is the standard I'm looking for, because yeah, you can have X, but I believe that the guidelines we have are still not really at the best point to use for persons with disabilities. And on the part of parking, you know, blocking pathways and everything, this is the most cliche answer I will ever give, but let me tell you, it works. You actually have to have really good enforcement. I believe the Office of Security and Management clamps our cars which have no stickers, clamps our cars which have not been parked in proper places. But I think the priority should be cars with stickers, even if they have stickers, but they have parked in and blocked the pathways of the person with disabilities. Because if you have sticker on your car, that does not give you a pass to just park anywhere in the uni. And I believe anything that affects the person with disability should have a higher enforcement, in the manner that there should be a higher rate of going and checking that the pathways are blocked or not. I believe this does not take any extra cost, because the Office of Security can just go and check it out every day when they are doing their patrol, you know, in the morning. So that does not incur any cost to the Office of Security. So that would be a good enforcement. And also I believe that the fine should be higher, because if a car parked in even a normal space is, you know, making for us to mobilize ourselves in a more difficult way, we are fining everybody 50 ringgit and clamping their cars. So if you block the pathway of a person with disability, I think you should be charged even higher, because it's already difficult for them and you're making it more difficult by doing this. Yeah, you can have your supplementary question. Do you have anything to add?
The question is
Sustainable change.
yes. How do you do sustainable change?
Okay.
Towards the policy?
Okay, so like I said, the guidelines we already have is a bit outdated, and the act that we have on a national level is also outdated, because like you asked me to define person with disability. I would say the person with disability is anyone that cannot use the infrastructure and facility in the university like majority are doing it. The moment you cannot do it, I think you should be defined as disabled. In order.
Is it because our impairment or because of the lack of access?
Is because of the lack of access. That is why, because the word, just the trivia, the word OKU, that we use it as orang kurang upaya. And a lot of people have been trying to romanticize it by saying it's actually orang kelainan upaya. But the actual reason is that they are not disabled by themselves. What makes them disabled is the lack of access and infrastructure that caters to them. That is why they are not orang kelainan upaya. They are actually orang kurang upaya because we make them one. So we have to make sure that we don't make them orang kurang upaya, then we can start calling them whatever you want. But for now, we are focusing on making sure that the access is definitely for them first, then everybody else. So on sustainable change, like I said, the policies earlier, which is already outdated, obsolete, we have to move it. We have to move it. And the new ones I'm saying, where the standard has to be for disabled, trust me, brother, Office of Security and Management is really supportive of this movement to ensure that the person with disability can get around the campus easily. So the policies in change, that the succession of the policy should be there, not just the person. Yeah.
Okay. There are several things I will say. I think you answered my question already, and thank you for that. I am okay with the answer, because that's the truth. That's the truth that everyone should know. Disability disability happens not because of the impairment. It happens because of the lack of access, because there is no access. That is why disability happens in the first place. Okay, that's one thing. Another thing is, if you want to do something related to us, it's not just welfare actually. So it's not only the task of Brother Ali here, but the task of everyone in this university to be aware of what is the accessible pathway, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. Okay, but to know that, the best person for you to consult is the persons with disabilities themselves, because we experience the things on a daily basis. Kalau dah OKU tu daripada lahir, 26, 27 years, maybe 30, 50 years, they have experience of that. So when you want to do something related to the university, please consult us first. Please ask first. And also, because you are the students' union, I believe that one of the things that is very crucial is for us to have a unionized voice, and that includes persons with disabilities. Because when you focus for the persons with disabilities, you are focusing for everyone, for every student. For example, ada ramp dekat situ, bukan MKU dia guna, semua orang guna. You can benefit from it as well. So when you think about disability, when you think of the most vulnerable community in the world, you are thinking about everyone. That is called 𝐾𝐜𝐶 effect. You will cari dekat Google, dekat YouTube, you will tengok. Okay, that's the thing I would say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brother Nash, for the insightful sharing. And I'm sure that Raj and also Muntasir will be working with everyone to ensure an inclusive student union moving forward, inshallah. And I really like Brother Aiman and also Brother Ammar's question. So, because I like the question, first on Aiman's question is on why are you doing this? Huh? Are you here to catch YB or to catch dogs? What is your true intention? And Brother Ammar's question was on the philosophy of unionism itself, and how do you embody the ethos or the philosophy of unionism by yourself through the activism of student union. So because I like both of these questions, I would like to make it concluding remarks from both of you. So I will give around 2.5 minutes for you to conclude everything while answering these questions from Brother Ammar and also Brother Aiman. Okay, Brother Muntasir's concluding remarks.
Okay, before I give my concluding remarks, I would like to express a little bit about person with disabilities. I've been meeting with a person from Disabled Student Unit, and we've been discussing about what we can help. Yes, Disability Services Unit, DSU. So I've been meeting with them, with Brother Ali as well, and I believe that there's a bit of shift that we have to do in our mindset. We have to see our PWD friends beyond welfare. We have to see them beyond welfare. We have to include them in all of the things that we've done, because basically our mindset needs to change regarding this thing. And to put it into figure, you have to know these figures. Okay, right now we have 92 disabled students, PWD students in IIUM. 92 termasuk Gombak, sorry. And we have 65 in Gombak, we have 11 in Kuantan, we have 8 in Pagu, and we have 8 in Gombak. So it is important for us to please reach out to them, because I've met with Disabled Services Unit, and it has been a very insightful meeting with them, knowing that we have so much to do, we have so much things to offer for them. So please, inshallah, there will be more collaborative efforts with the PW students. I can assure you that inshallah we will work together with Raj, not only for PW students in Gombak, but also in Kuantan and Pagu, because they're also there. Okay, and then closing remark Okay, people say why? Okay, people will ask why we contest, kan? during deputy, even me myself ada tambah lagi satu question lah, why naik presiden dah dekat deputy kan. Why ada orang kata kita, ada orang, people say we are greedy with power. People say we have self-interest, but I think basically I've been a very simple person, but to put it into words lah, I think it's just a matter of how we be grateful, because I'm being a student who doesn't have too much problems in terms of, I don't have too much problems in financial, I don't have too much problems in my studies, alhamdulillah, and I don't have too much problems in my health as well, I'm healthy. So for me, it's a simple answer lah. It's just a matter of how we being grateful and give back to our students. So this is just, so by providing, for being a president myself, being in service for you guys, it's a way of how I express my gratitude. So because I have no problems lah. So inshallah I will do my best lah to be the president of IIUM Student Union. I'm sorry because for the past few days it has been tiring for me lah, campaigning for almost 1 month and hearing, you know kan, kalau you some sort of like, you guys hear too many concerns, it somewhat affects your mental, and you feel the burden to myself. Me myself, I every day I keep questioning myself, am I doing the right thing? Am I sincere enough? Am I providing my best for you guys? But I wanted you guys to know this one thing lah. I will try my best to serve the union wholeheartedly, and I will not disregard you guys. Sorry guys. But yeah, it is a matter of how kita bersyukur lah. Kita bersyukur sebab kita tak ada apa-apa masalah. Kita senang dalam kehidupan kita. Kau nangis juga kan. So sorry, I'm being a bit emotional lah because actually our student supposedly they have to know lah the existence of a student union is to help them in many aspects, in many ways. Students have to know this, but they choose to not know, which I feel that selama ni effort from our past officers macam tu je ke dia, padahal diorang dah kerja macam-macam untuk our union, but our students tak nampak. So it's a matter of we together, menjawablah soalan Brother Amar tadi about unionism. It's a matter of how we unite together, we bring changes regarding of what political backgrounds you are, regarding of what ideologies you hold, regardless of what intentions you got, personal or political intentions. At the end of the day, we have to serve one purpose, which is to serve for the students. InsyaAllah. So,
thank you very much. Thank you very much, Brother Mutasir. Please take care of yourself. It's a long way to go, and we are grateful for you too. Brother Raj, your concluding remarks.
I think I'll start with Brother Amar's question on what does unionism mean to me. Let me just give you an anecdote. What happened last year? Do you all remember the Fahmi Reza's episode in UIA? Having the democracy class. So I had played some small role in that, you know, in bringing him and having the democracy class. Baru tahu ke? Okay. So I played a small part. And you know what was the satisfaction in the whole thing? Let me be honest, let me be brutally honest. It's not the fact that, you know, the students already know this, you know, I got a name in university or anything like that. It was more of, you feel satisfied, you feel content with yourself that you actually made some change in someone's life by doing that one particular small thing. I cannot change everybody's life around here. I cannot turn anybody's life around here. Probably I can't do mine also. But you know what I can do? I have that satisfaction when I go back home that, you know, because of what I started here or what we started here together collectively in University Islam Antarabangsa Malaysia, it spread throughout the whole country. We had class democracy over and over. And I know there was a spillover effect throughout the country, that there awareness of the whole election and the episode. And I think that is the most or the ultimate goal that every person here is looking for. To be content that you make change in somebody's life. And remember I said we collectively did it, so that is what unionism means to me. The fact that all of us together can actually make change. Believe that. Trust me. You might not see it in a material way that that person, became someone or anything, but you can definitely make a change when you are together. A bit tough when you're alone, let me tell you. Nobody has ever done it alone till today. A union with a spirit of unionism can definitely make a change here. And why I am running for the deputy president post is that I believe that my capacity to serve the whole union is not as much as Brother Muntasir here. If you think there was a power greed or anything like that, just for information, both of us were on totally opposite sides, even till the day of nomination. And after nominating ourselves, we were campaigning, who would get this post. Both of us knew one of us only going to win that post, definitely. But because of our discussion, we realized that, let me just tell you, we thought the best thing would be we cannot let the union go into the hands of a person who is not capable of handling the union. So both of us discussed, and we thought we might sacrifice. There is compromise that we can make, but the common ground is that the union should survive. And by the union surviving, over the years, I believe that there will be changes made in somebody's life in some way. So anybody who benefited from the union in the last tenure, even if they do not know that the union did their job, I'm grateful that it happened, and God knows what happened. Thank you.
Thank you so much to both of you. Yes, such is life, full of sorrows and sadness, but at the end of the tunnel, there's always a golden sky. Okay. Thank you. So everyone, are you content with tonight's dialogue? Are you happy that these are the next president and deputy president of IIUM Student Union? Do you think that they'll be able to lead everyone here? So please work and support Brother Muntasir and Brother Yuvraj. They have a long way to go, one more year to serve everyone collectively with every single community in our members. Before I end, I would like to end it with a pantun. Jika patah. Sekecil-kecil burung kedidi terbang hinggap di hujung papan. Walaupun kali ini tidak mengundi, Mun dan Raj tunaikanlah kewajipan. So maybe one last chance by the president of IIUM Student Union, so we will get fired up to serve the Student Union and to be a good member of the Student Union together, insyaAllah.
Nak balas pantun tak?
Patah saya ada jual.
Mak jemah lupa nak hidupkan gas. I will try my best. One last apa kata? One last ni lah for our union, okay? Hidup Student Union, mahasiswa lah. Hidup sorry tak biasa benda ni. Hidup mahasiswa. Hidup kesatuan. Okay, boleh? Raj, kau nak? Sekali.
Hidup mahasiswa. Hidup kesatuan.
That is the end of the presidential dialogue of IIUM Student Union. Thank you very much, everyone. This is your president and deputy president one of IIUM Student Union.